Okay, so I just watched this, and I watched it just because I wanted an action movie, which usually is. I mean, you know, I was actually going to go for like a Need for Speed first. Yeah. So I mean, I was looking for a brainless sort of action movie. Unfortunately, the first speedy sort of movie I could find, not actually that or Fast or Furious or whatever they're called, all that redundancy in names. Yeah, no. The first one I could find anyway had stupid subtitles and all because I just need them. So I didn't go for it. Anyway, the point is, I went for this, and I mean, yes, it kind of was what I wanted. Not exactly, obviously, thoroughly. Mostly at the end, obviously, which had something that you know what? I didn't mind that. Um, it was sort of yeah, it's weird how it happens because obviously when one searches for a certain type of movie, it's not obviously absolutely certain that it's what it is, obviously based on a genre. Genres could be anything. So yeah, I didn't quite uh look for what there was at the beginning, at least specifically. I was more looking at just endless, just to try to sort of, not have to concentrate too hard. Not that I did have to concentrate too hard, but uh, mm, well, I mean, just anyway, what I saw is what there was is it was a interesting setup. You know, I mean, it reminded me of a few movies. It had elements from Fight Club, obviously. The ending and all, but it reminded me mm, primarily of Mol- Jacob's Leather because of what's happened in the beginning. Um, yeah. But it wasn't either of them at any rate. It was like a bit of both, but not really either of them. And and it was interesting, the way it was built up. How I obviously noticed at first how they started to have hallucinations. How I noticed that the cockroaches were hallucinations at first. There was one point though, and so sort of it was interesting how it happened. There was one point where when the guy when that his supposed teammate snuck in to the countryside house and he began and there was that fake pseudo murder. I don't know. I guess I could have suspected it, but especially considering the fact that he he couldn't have known where he was. Obviously, he could have still tracked him, but he couldn't otherwise. But yeah, that one actually made me think that he could really have done that. So that's the only one that made me think it's not a hallucination. But when it comes to though the thing with the conclusions and everything, that was interesting. Yeah, because I don't know, but just yeah. And the average rating, right? That this is like like a source of absolute comedy to me. The average rating of every movie, like what the hell almighty, it was by all objective measures. Like you could just see, like it was by all objective measures a good movie. I mean, the way it was built, you know. Then again, I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? I mean, it is ultimately subjective. Like in my opinion, for example, um, most mobster movies, shall we say, aren't really that interesting to me. Aren't so, in the sense, then they aren't really that, you know. At least I don't. I mean, like watching them as much. When I do watch them, obviously, I end up, but which obviously baffles me since some of them are very highly rated. This is what I mean. So I just, uh, yeah, primarily it's the fact that they do have an excess of violence. This one didn't. It did have a bit, obviously, but it didn't mostly. And well, obviously everyone has different reasons for rating, but I wonder what could be the reason with this one. Couldn't possibly tell. No, it's a mystery for the century. Centuries, it's not even just a single century. It's a mystery for the centuries. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, or, some people who are, kind of like, are sort of, Second Amendment fetishist. Yeah, shall we say? Yeah, shall we say? Shall we? Let us shall say. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, it's the most bizarre thing ever. It's like, I mean, obviously it was, um, swarmed over, you know, like yeah, like those cockroaches, it's bizarre, because by all objective measures, it's a well-made movie, all the effects and everything. It makes it really well made, I mean, how it begins. It does end a bit violently and a bit sordidly, but so, the only reason then that it would be is, yeah, that's pretty much the only reason. I mean, what on earth? I mean, what else could there be? I mean, obviously they didn't like the ending, especially the very very end there. They didn't like, in other words. Oh yeah, I think it's called facts. Yeah, maybe I don't know. They I don't know. They did blame it a bit too much on uh chemicals. Because I mean, it's not like no one else in the world is also medicated, but obviously, the common element there, the common variable is, yeah, I cannot tell either. It's mystery for a century this time. Yeah, it's not 4 centuries. It's just 1 century. Yeah. So yeah, it's a bit of a mystery, but not a huge mystery like before. Like why the average rating happened. Nah, no, not that big of a mystery. Just a bit of a mystery. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm just saying. So just I did find it actually funny sometimes, bizarrely, because I'm not sure it's meant to be funny, but when that guy suddenly flipped and just got tinfoil all over his head. I don't know what it was. I just found it funny. I mean, it just saw such a hilarious transition. And then that's the thing, it did have a lot of very interesting transitions, between one scene to the next, especially when it comes to. I mean, most of them. I mean, it comes to, obviously, you know, when it came to the past, when they depict the past, but most movies do this sort of thing. Also, though, when it generally depicted artistic sort of scenes, obviously, when it comes to when they went to that place there in the foresty area. It was a bit out of the blue, when she started dancing and everything. but I don't know. I liked it at least. The artistic sort of flair to it. I think the movie very much depicts paranoia uh, brilliantly. That's what it does. Just paranoia is really depicted brilliantly. Um, from all sides, you could see it, right? So I mean, the protagonist was paranoid. So were his captors at that point then when he was, it's all round paranoia, really, and this is very much enhanced by the sound effects, which I think is what elevates the movie to I think what seriously makes it like a good movie. I mean, I don't know what else there could be to it really. It's a movie about paranoia. So unless the average rager specifically didn't like paranoid movies, I don't think that would be it. But it's a possibility. Then again, I mean, if they didn't like paranoid movies, then they could have just watched I don't know, some rom-com, one of those things. Yeah, totally. But it's not like I don't occasionally myself, but this day, I just decided, I was in the mood for this, and it happens that I was in the mood for this specifically. I didn't know I was in the mood for this specifically, but I went with this generally, um, and it was functional. It seems to me. I mean, as I said, it's just this average rating. This is why I couldn't care less about ratings. It's the most bizarre thing ever. Ever since I started to watch the top, no, I mean the bottom 100. Yeah, that's why I decided really not to care because, well, they can still be entertaining. I mean, I've certainly seen more boring movies, even on top to 50 as well. Not even, I mean, in between or anything. Um, so, it's just generally thought. I mean, all sorts of things. Just um, the, anyway, yeah, it's an average thing at any rate, and so yeah, I can see how but obviously it's not exactly um, but with some movies you can sort of see. I mean, the reason why, right? Like it's like it's not like it was even like like over the top sort of propaganda or anything. It wasn't really. I mean, propaganda is when something is actually not true per se, isn't it? I mean, it's just I mean, if it's just and yeah, so what? It's say if just say it had a montage at the end. Oh wow, I guess feelings were hurt or something. It's just bizarre. I mean, and I'm pretty sure they ignore the 50% statistic, right? Yeah, no one cares about 50%. Yeah, I guess who cares about what people do to their own selves, right? But the right to kill others, yeah, no, it should absolutely be preserved. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not how it's said to be, isn't it? No, there's always some layer to it. It's never the right to kill others. Yeah, sure. It's the right to self-defense by all means. Should still exist, but yeah. No. I mean, that's a point, right? It's this when you have a weapon, it's offense. It's not defense. Technically, like literally, it's defense when there's a shield and there's some sort of. So anyway, this is the point. Yeah. To blame a movie for it is bizarre. Like, by all objective measures, it's a well-made movie, and you know it's everything a movie should be really of this type. I mean, I've seen more boring action movies certainly. It's not like it's the best thing I've ever seen or anything, but as I said, it reminded me of, and I do like. I mean, this is the bizarre thing, you know, because I mean, okay, so Jacob's Ladder is rated what, like, I think above average, not very very highly, but above average. And Fight Club is rated very highly. I'm not saying I don't like Fight Club. So I certainly, you know, liked it the first time I watched it. There's a lot more on the top 250 at any rate that I certainly found either more boring or more just you know, I don't know, all sorts of things. I mean, this is the weird thing, though, obviously, because I mean, yeah, an individual can find, you know, something boring, and then, you know, most other people, I guess, disagree. But for everyone to just think that, oh no, this is, despite it clearly being an objectively, I mean, it's not like a movie where, you know, it's not, some movies don't even use sound effects, I swear. That would be an objectively bad movie, right? I mean, if you don't even use sound effects or music or anything. This one did, and it depicted their paranoid state quite well. And it's quite similar to those couple of movies that are above average at the very least. I guess you know, some people might accuse it of. I mean, it didn't exactly copy them. Certainly didn't copy them um, perfectly, at any rate. Yeah, so you know, at any rate, you know, I liked it. You know, I don't mind variations certainly, and I don't seem to have that problem that most writers seem to have. Yeah, I guess I don't know. It's a very pitiful thing when you know something artificial prevents one from enjoying a movie. It seems like I don't know if I don't enjoy something, you know, overly violent or such. It's not artificial. It's just something that I just don't like. Yeah, it's like you know, it's people have generally, I guess, you know, individual dislikes. I'm not saying that that is artificial by itself, but no, just you know, when you get though there's this thing, you know, when just you know you get something that you just so was the word, you know, and you invested in, you know, you've so invested in something that even if you watch a well-made movie, you wouldn't enjoy it just because seems to say what? I mean, I don't get it. Maybe it's because the final battle was done with that must be this must be it. This absolutely must be it because the final battle was done with the hands, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. What a pity. Yeah. Weapons weren't used. What a pity for all the weapon dwellers. Yeah, it's an absolute pity. Yeah. It's quite bizarre because you know you actually hold a weapon using your arms, but yeah, they might be arm phobic. Yes, it's quite something. Yeah, they might be. Yeah, they might have some sort of phobia about um yeah, just you know fighting using arms. I honestly don't know. I mean, I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel here, obviously. I'm obviously trying not to be too serious, but yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, it's just whatever, really. Ultimately, um, I'm just saying. I think it's an objectively good movie, well-made movie, but you know, obviously, it's ultimately perception of art generally is subjective. You know? I've certainly rated others. So I mean, I've rated even top 250 movies. Uh, yeah, three or whatever. Um, uh, but not because I was so invested in something that I couldn't enjoy it at all costs. I mean, maybe I'm too invested in really gory violence. I guess it's not the same thing, is it? I just don't like really gory violence that goes on constantly for 2 hours. No, three. Yeah, some of them are 3 hours. I mean, I just don't. Yes, I'm probably never going to watch Sopranos or whatever. But you know, I don't know. I'm just saying that's a personal dislike. You know, people have personal dislikes. I'm not saying, but you know, this is objectively, you know, well-made movie as well. it's not really, but whatever, really. I guess if Fight Club had anything against guns, it would be rated 3 as well, I'm guessing. I don't know. Very funny, yeah. You would think, yeah. If capitalists had any more sway, back in the late 90s at least, maybe, yeah, Fight Club would be rated, yeah, 3, yeah, why not? Because they didn't, huh? Oh, what a pity. It's just bizarre. I mean, that's the entire point, right? Like, entire point of Fight Club, and anti-capitalist and all. Um, you know, I don't know, but I don't know how it happens sometimes when a movie is in top 250, and I agree that it's a well-made movie. Hap- yeah, happened with V for Vendetta as well and such. It's quite remarkable that some people can really rate some movies highly, but really, it's not like they're the only movies rated highly. There's a lot of, what in my opinion is Dross that's rated highly as well. But I'm just saying, it's obviously it is subjective ultimately, what people prefer. But I'm just saying. I mean, some seem to have a bit too much. Like these couple of movies, so yeah. I mean, they're kind of well made in all sort of directions. So they're not so overly violent or such. They might have a bit of violence, but not overly. I think a bit of a moderation is good, I guess. And I mean, this movie had motivation as well. Obviously, it didn't have well, I don't suppose motivation is exactly what most people prefer in movies. I suppose that might be the thing. But yeah, otherwise, anyway, I liked it personally. So yeah, it's a others' loss if they didn't. Whatever. Really, yeah.